can...
Yeah, you can edit
Okay, go ahead.
later.
Yeah.
Is it started?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
I saw some books that's for sale there.
Yes, they have a good collection of like old Esquire and Scanlon's, his early works.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, about... You can start talking about the Gonzo Foundation, how...
Well, the Gonzo Foundation, we actually started the Gonzo Foundation when Hunter was alive. We started it here in the kitchen with Ralph Steadman, who is Hunter's collaborator. He's an artist. And he said, you know, you should start the Gonzo Foundation. You should get the website today. He said, because somebody's going to take the domain name. So we started it that night. It was in maybe 2002. And it was sort of an abstract concept. And then after Hunter passed away, I wanted to, I wanted to start promoting his work right away, because his work is so important to promote, individual freedom, and also the power of the people. That's something, it seems very basic, or something that's almost like a bumper sticker, but it's true. The people really do have the power, and if they want to keep the power, they have to keep working, and that's Gonzo. So the Gonzo Foundation, we promote those values. We promote political activism and American literature, which come together in Hunter's legacy.
Mm-hmm. And for you, what's the main meaning of the word Gonzo?
Gonzo? Well, the most important, people ask me this all the time, and they asked Hunter all the time, and Hunter had different answers depending on the day. But one way you know it's not Gonzo, if the writer or the person was not in the present moment. The present moment is the only time where you can connect to something maybe bigger than yourself. In your mind, when you're thinking of the future or you're thinking of the past, you're not connected. You're in your brain. You're in your brain, which is okay, because that's how we have to know history, and we have to plan for the future. But Gonzo, you're rooted. You have roots in the ground, and you're connected to everything that's connected to everybody. And that's every action we take in politics, or with our dollar when we spend or our euro, or what do you spend in Brazil?
Reais.
Reais?
Yeah.
When you spend your reais, that's a vote.
Yeah.
You have an impact on the world every time you spend a dollar, or not spend, or choose not to. We have so much power as people, and that's what Gonzo is. And you know that when you're in the present, when you're rooted, and when you spend that dollar, you're present, and you're aware of what you're doing to the world. So we all make mistakes every day, but we try to, we try to stay present and look out for our people.
And why do you think that Hunter was so successful journalist in the journalist field?
I think because he was looking for the truth, and he thought, my God, this truth, because he was a writer first, and then he went into journalism. He was so successful because his idea of the truth and really good writing, he said, oh my God, the truth is the best story. He said, this is really the best, so I can use his mind. He had such an incredible mind for language, and he didn't use complicated words, or words that were not accessible to everybody. He didn't use like high academic words. He could if he wanted to, but he said, oh my God, so my career, and I can be an activist at the same time. And he discovered that when we lost John F. Kennedy in November of 1963. Hunter it was the first day he used fear and loathing, the words. The fear and loathing that he felt that day, he said, I can't be a novelist. He said, I have to be a journalist because I have to fight for my country. He had no choice. The choice was made for him. So he used his talent to be he was a bedrock patriot. He loved America, and he loved the people. He loved the people. And he really, really loved sports.
And just one more. Well, why do you think that is so difficult for the most part of the people, and especially journalists, and that work with truth, don't tell the truth?
Because they have to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
The woman asked me, she said, I was giving a lecture last week in Denver, and a woman asked me, she said, I was giving a lecture about Gonzo journalism, and she said, well, what does a journalist have to risk by becoming more gonzo in their work and being more brave and telling the truth? And I said, they have their jobs to risk. The media now is owned more and more. The newspapers that used to be all around the country and all around the world, they're being bought up by large corporations. So you have large corporations that own our newspapers, let alone like the TV media. That's not news anymore. It's not really news. It's like entertainment news. But newspapers here in America, I don't know if it's the same in Brazil.
Yeah.
But in America, there are fewer and fewer independent newspapers. So if you have a corporation who's your editor, and you write something that says Monsanto is poisoning people, you might just lose your job now. And Hunter, he lived, he chose to live on a farm. He didn't go for the money. He never was a rich man financially. He was rich in many ways, but not financially. He chose to tell the truth, and he was successful for his legacy, and successful in reaching millions and millions of people around the world. But financially, no, not so much. That's not what his goal was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just one more.
That's fine. I love to talk about Hunter. I'm so proud of him.
What do you think that Hunter would think about the U.S. today and the world today?
Yeah, I don't like to. It's hard for me to say what Hunter would say exactly. But I might know what stationery he would use to say it on. For example, today, he would probably, the stationery he would use in the current environment in the U.S., where we are becoming more and more corporatized. Even the Supreme Court now chose for a corporation recently for choosing what the health care of their employees will be if the women can have contraception. It's scary what's happening. We could go either way in the next decade. Cervantes' Don Quixote. Arms my only ornament, my only rest, the fight. That's Cervantes. So I think he would be fighting, as he always was. He was a fighter. He loved to be a champion and wanted it, but not himself too. He lifted everybody else around him. And also your readers, when you're reading his work, you start to feel yourself. Yeah. You feel your own power a little rising with each page. That's why it's so important for young people to read Hunter's work, because it makes people stronger as individuals and become more alive in their hearts and have more bravery and also more fun. Journalism and writing, it can be so much work, and you can bleed, like Hemingway said, but you can have a lot of fun. And Hunter was so attractive because he was curious and he was brave, and he just had he knew how to have fun. You have to keep the fun in your work, so I hope you keep your fun in your thesis work.
Thank you.
Okay.